caused me so much pain. Just when I think I'm taking more than would have fooled, I start falling back in love with you. I keep on falling in and out of love with you. I never loved someone when I'm loving you. Let's wait a minute like this. Let's go. Repeat, say.
Woo! Oh man, Miss Sarah Reinecke.
Good morning.
Alicia Keys does it.
I mean, I feel like I sound like her in my mind. Like whenever I'm like singing along, I was like, I have sound. Then I'm like, oh, maybe I don't. So I'm glad I did
I
that.
I have zero belief that I sound like that. In fact, I sound like a dying cat half the time. So there
Uh,
ain't no doubt. Last thing y'all want me is doing karaoke.
well,
I can
me too.
DJ though. I'm not bad at that.
Yeah, I can sing harmony in the background. I actually could be a good background singer. I can do that. I can read music. I can find the harmony. I can do that. You just don't want me leading the show with the mic.
Mm.
So we all can do our part. Yeah. Good
Speaking
morning.
of dogs and cats, Sarah,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but every time I have to run a big call, like I
Uh-huh.
still get nervous and I'm a nervous peer. And so like I had to just run to the restroom real fast. And more I think to myself, I'm like, I literally have a golden retriever personality at this point. It's just never stops, will always be there. I'm like, man.
I can see that. I can see it. Well, good to see you. And I'll see you like in real life next week.
Dude, I'm ready. I'm excited. Things are rolling, things are good.
Actually, I thought about you some and working on my speech because I'm talking about stick it out till you figure it out. And just so grateful for you in the beginning of this thing. Like you probably all have your person that you're like, okay, if that guy can do it, I can do it. Just enough ahead of you. And when Susan and I got here, Jacob was so far ahead, right? Like he was like hanging in his pool with his twins. The pool looks like something out of a water park. And he's like, work past 4. I don't work past noon on Fridays. Don't call me in the evenings. And I'm definitely not working on the weekends. I was like, okie dokie. Well, who's that guy over there? He seems to be successful. And that was you, and just so grateful for for someone like you, like Marlon, Jacob obviously was incredible, but you guys that just kept me from jumping off the cliff, so many times and just the impact that made. So just grateful for you, my friend. Thank you for not letting me quit.
Likewise, my friend, likewise. And just you and Jared, your whole team, everybody that's come through. Like all y'all have just been a huge impact in my own life. And plus, now I just can't imagine my life without you guys. So I love you a ton.
No. Well, this is Be a Better Builder. I love this call. It's my favorite.
But
Yeah. And I know you've got some really great content with Miss Tara. Super excited. So I'm going to bow out, but we do just take roll in here, not like who's on, who's not on. But I say every week, this is not a Netflix show to just click into, and just like, hey, this takes up an hour of my life. Like you're here to become a better builder. So this is a teacher in me, like there better be some data to show that you are moving forward in this world because that's what it's all about. So let's see. Which one do we want to do first? What are you reading? Because if you design your own mentor, mentors read. Leaders are readers. Readers are leaders. Throw it in the chat. What do you read? Oh, Finish. I love Finish, Katie. That's good. A lot of Brave Habit. You better get that in quick. Meredith will know if you didn't do your homework. She's gonna know. Procrastinate on purpose. Interesting. Coaching habits. So good. All right. This is good. This is good. All right. Next. Um, what promotion are you running for in August? What are you running? Because good mentors are moving forward. What are you working towards in August? Good. SNA 115, AO. Oh, good. 85. Look at that. Freaking awesome. 100%. Yeah. And you all are leaders, whether you're a party of one, party of two, party of three, like you decide what race you're running and you go first, period. And you don't have to say to your team like, hey, we're running for 100. You just go get it.
mhm.
You lead the pack. And then third, we say in here issuing at least if you're running towards agency owner, 10 to 15K minimum on your own pin as you're running towards that. Again, a friend of mine on the West Coast was like, Veronica, that's cute, but it costs 20 to even like break even here on the West Coast. I was like, oh, I live in Missouri. We can live a good life on $10,000 a month. So let's put in the chat, what will you issue in August? And I don't want to hear, but it's conference. We're not talking about that. We're not a but it's conference kind of people. These are leaders. So what are you going to issue on your own pin non-negotiably in August? Oh, good. And that's good.
Yes.
Good. Make a decision. Make it happen. Like the last thing you want to do as a leader, people are watching you. So just when I said I was watching Andrew, he didn't know that I was watching him, but like you're not only inspiring the people you've hired, like you have a responsibility as a leader in this company to inspire everyone around you, right? You just never know who it is. When Trisha was talking on the AO call yesterday about it was Tristan Strickland, that made a big difference for her at conference last year. So you just never know. And we all just have to work together as leaders. So this is a good roll call. The last thing that I just thought, Anna and I were going to talk about is like as leaders, because every one of you on here are, God, there's a fly in my office and I'm going to lose my mind. The IT guy is also the exterminator. He can see that I'm going to lose my mind. I hear him back there getting a fly swatter. So the exterminator is on his way. I call him the chief of everything else, like everything else. But as you're going into conference, you all are leaders on this call, every one of you. I saw the chat, I saw the books you're reading, and you've decided, oh my gosh, look at how he kills flies. You guys, have you seen this?
Oh, I love it. Little salted floater gun.
Yes. Look, it's right here. And you get it. Gone.
Got
Done.
him.
Yeah.
Got him. Nicely done.
Assault rifle. Yep. I know.
How
This
does
is
your camera do that? It's like going with you. Mine doesn't.
this is my new fancy camera. You guys just saw an
You
assault.
like my new fancy light?
Oh my gosh, yours is way fancier. It's beautiful. Yes.
Got one on the
Oh,
outside.
look at that. It's like a real office.
I know.
Okay, as you guys are going into conference, the first thing I want you to know is leaders don't limp into conference. Leaders do not limp into conference. All right. What do you think? What do you think about that, Hemi? What's your advice to leaders right now?
The one, leaders don't limp. We don't lay down. We don't do any of that stuff. Like somebody has to lead, right? And if you want to be the person to lead your team, show up in the way that should be done. You're not cracking a whip. You're not just all huddled around the fire. It's someone's got to go ahead and say, okay, let me pick up these two 50-pound sandbags. Or like that one Walking the Giants movie that you showed that one time where the guy puts it on his back and
Yeah.
crawls the entire distance. Like someone's got to lead.
Yep.
And that's how we do it.
Someone's got to lead. And what that looks like right now is, a lot of you don't fly out until Tuesday. Like, who was it that got a hold of me? It was maybe somebody in your team. Might have been Janice. I forget who it was. It was like, Sarah, I remember Black Friday 3 years ago that I saw you were first in the workroom on a Saturday morning and you had your hair back in a ponytail and you were up dialing and working. And like, she remembered that. She's like, and I respected it. And I was like, man, that's crazy. That was like 3 years ago, right? You don't know who you're inspiring right now. And if you're not at a place where you get to coast, which I would assume most people on this call are not in situations where they get to coast yet. So this is not the weekend for just picking out outfits or cruising in. This is the weekend to be first in the room on Saturday morning booking appointments, because someone's got to lead. Someone's got to lead, and it might as well be you. And whether you're a team of 1 or 50. So yeah, and then second, just while you're at conference. I know Trisha on our the AO call yesterday. Last year she was a team leader, but she showed up like a 1:30. She was dressed professionally. She was there early. She was, first one into that auditorium. She had her notes ready. Like she was alert. She was clear-headed. If you would have not known the way she was walking around, you'd have thought she was already at the top of this company. And she was a team leader trying this thing out for real. So what's some advice for leaders on this call to how to show up at conference next week?
I'm going to give you a piece of advice that was told to me that I think really helped shape a lot of the work and how I showed up everywhere.
Mhm.
Work hard enough to earn the respect of those that you respect. You see how they walk, you see how they talk, you see how they do, you see how they operate, you see how they really present themselves.
Mhm.
Take note and do the same.
Yeah.
You know, 130, I think that one of the things that we all notice in agency owners and each other is yes, there's numbers that come along with it, but the person changes to become this level,
Yeah.
right? And so I would say that it's my one piece of advice. So you think about, I think Brian Delaney, every single time we're up in that like advisory board section, homie has like two notebooks all
Yep.
the time, constantly taking notes and writing down notes of
Yep.
every single speech,
Yep.
right? So show up, earn the respect of those you respect by working hard enough to get that done and watch what happens. And you'll get into the smallest group that there is in this company.
Yep, that's true. So, all right. There's our roll call for the day. We become better builders. There's no calls next week at all, this one included, but we'll pick right back up the week after that. So I'm gonna bug out and let you bring Miss Tara. See y'all
Good
later.
deal. I've actually got a quick book suggestion. Miss Tara, I've been calling you Tara this whole time, girl, and you didn't even correct me. I am so sorry.
And it's okay.
Okay. Well,
I've
one.
been called worse than that today, actually, so it's okay.
Well, I'll let you know what's not worse, that picture behind you. That is a good looking picture. Is it a bear or a wolf?
It's a bear, and so we have a condo in Steamboat, and we spend about 6 months a year out here. So you're going to see a lot of activity behind me because it's 524 square feet.
Love it.
So you're going to see my dog. You'll likely see my husband. Like it's everything. So this is my kitchen when I need water. The water fountain is right here. My bathroom's just right there. Like everything happens right here. It's incredible.
Let's do it. Well, guys, we're gonna have some fun. And before that, I want to give you guys one book suggestion that I have here. It's called Why Employees Don't Do What They're Supposed to and What to Do About It. Okay. This book was given to me by Ryan Miller and Miranda Martin, Dave Lappin a long time ago when they were building. And it's like early stages of really like kind of how to have conversations with people. And then, the same author, it's a short book. It's like maybe like not even 100 pages, right? Then the next book that he wrote is Why Customers Don't Do What They're Supposed to Do and What to Do About It. And all it really does is talks about the proper communication of really setting proper expectations and how to let people know based off of what they want. Here's what you can go ahead and go do it. But if you don't do this, understand here's what the agony of defeat is going to look like. And if you're okay with the consequences, then do what you want to do, right? What we're going to talk about today, me and Tara here, Tara, I'm sorry, girl. Me and Tara here is we're going to really kind of roll through proper expectations of honestly getting to a point where you guys could probably even audit who you're hiring a little bit more effectively. Because I know that we're all been kind of in places and in spots where you're just like, oh man, Tara, I'm just hiring people and they all feel like they're twos or threes or, they tell me all this amazing stuff on the interview, but then they never follow through, right? We can hire better people today, but it's going to be developing a skill set that we internally are going to get. So Tara's done a great job, guys, over the last year. Recently broke out as the newest agency owner. This far, year to date, 27 writers, 17 of them being brand new, 283 grand on 251 applications. Excellently done to you. But Tara, I'd love for you to roll through if you got a moment. Do you have some sweet little recruiting stats that you can kind of give people of what you've been able to accomplish building out your recruiting system that you have?
Absolutely. So, my 2 year anniversary with Symmetry was in May, which is also the month I rolled out as AO, which is kind of fun. I started building immediately. As a matter of fact, one of the first questions that I had with Jim when I spoke with him was, can I start building immediately? And he was like, heck yeah, come on, let's do it. And so I did, and I brought along a few people. And in my first 4 or 5, 6 months, I may have hired 4 or 5 or 6 people, and zero of them are still here. Um, and then in January of 2024, I kind of got serious about recruiting, and I got serious about tracking my stats, and I got serious about doing stuff. And so since January of 24, so we're a year and a half, little over a year and a half in, I have had over 2,200 applicants to my job. And people always ask me, where are you recruiting from? What job boards are you using? Whatever. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I'm putting myself out there, whether it's warm market or cold market. It doesn't matter if it's LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter or group interviews. It does not matter. There are millions of people in the United States who are looking for what we have to offer. And your job is to get in front of them, period. So it doesn't matter. Just like our leads, there's gold in every level of lead, there's gold in every type of lead, there's gold in every resource that we do. So over 2,000 applicants. I have run physically one-on-one 477 interviews, 3 of them yesterday. From those 477 interviews, I have had 69 ready to writes. Of those ready to writes, only 5 have not become new writers. All right, think through that. So 64 new writers in that year and a half. Today in Opt, 15 of those are active. Okay, so think through that, right? That's a lot of friggin' work to get to 15 people, but that's where we are. And so I started middle of the year last year. Really, it was around probably August, doing a deep dive into how I was interviewing. I was Jim's #1 recruiter in his master agency last year. I hired more people. And yet, by the end of the year, I wasn't even at team lead. How am I bringing on so many people and not getting anywhere? And what I realized is I was bringing on a lot of people, I was getting them to new writer, but I couldn't get them past that. And so I was averaging 10, 12 writers a month, but we literally were, I couldn't even hit 10K as a team. So there was something wrong with what I was doing. And so I had to just kind of sit back and do an analysis of me and of my approach to recruiting. So I'll tell you a little bit about who I am and how I got here. Many of you don't know me. I don't know you, and it freaks me out. I'm not even going to highlight to see how many people are on this call because I will break into a cold sweat and have to like turn on the fan.
Oh, yeah, it's just you and me, girl. This is a podcast.
I know. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it.
This is a podcast.
So my background for the last 30 years, that's hard to say. I was a professional recruiter. I started out as a headhunter. I started out as a teacher and I spent a year and a half teaching. I quit in February because no one told me that there were going to be a bunch of kids there every day. And so I hated it. I quit in February and I became a headhunter. I was a headhunter for several years and then I moved into corporate recruiting. And then within that corporate recruiting world, I started working my way up the ladder, right? I ended my career back in 2020 as the head of global recruiting for companies like MoneyGram International, second largest money transfer company in the world. We were hiring 3,800 people a year in over 40 countries, right? I wasn't really recruiting anymore, but I was training managers to do that. I was developing teams to do that. I was creating processes that allowed us to have that kind of success in recruiting. So when I started analyzing what I was doing wrong and why my people they were ready to write, they just weren't ready to run, right? I realized I was recruiting wrong. And I needed to take a step back and kind of go back to the basics of how do I find the people who are looking for what we have here? How can I uncover the people that are ready to do the work and need what we have here? Like you physically need it. Not just, I think it sounds great and I can probably make a little bit of money, but like this is my future. How do I find those people? So I went back to the basics, Andrew, and I created an interview script. Like we have a script for leads And maybe it exists. I had just never found it. I didn't have a script for how I was recruiting. And what I did is when I started listening, so I recorded a bunch of my interviews, by the way.
Good job.
And when I started listening to those, I realized that 80% of my interview time, I was doing the talking. I was trying to sell them on why that this is where they need to be versus asking the questions, listening to their answers, and determining whether or not I want them on my team.
Mm-hmm.
I would take anybody a year ago. If they had a pulse and they said they could get a test, pass their test and said they wanted to do it, I'd take them. Great, come on. And you know what I did? I pulled them along and I struggled and I spent time and I did work and then they quit. And I was done with that. So, end of last year, I created this recruiting script, and I've been working this script. The sad part is, Andrew, my numbers aren't as good as they were last year from a ready to write perspective, which is so hard, right? I don't have 10 to 12 writers yet a month anymore. But what I have is 6 to 7 to 8 who are killing it and who are engaged and who are showing up at meetings and who are on accountability calls and who are in the Mac room and who are team players and who see the vision. And so I'm just so excited to be able to share with you guys a little bit about that interview script if you want me to. If you're interested in it, I'd love to tell you kind of how I structure interviews.
Throw a yes, throw a hell yes, throw a like fingers, whatever you want. I want to see it in there. I want to bring some highlighting to some things so that guys I think are like just so important behind like when I really saw this company. There are millions of people that hate their job. My wife makes 6 figures right now and cannot wait to quit in May. Okay. But she's the only reason she's staying right now is because she took a 3 month sabbatical. And so she can't quit for a year unless she wants to pay back her bonus. Because I was like, well, you had a fun time. You traveled to, what, 6 different countries during that time frame? Like, go enjoy it, right? We got 1 year. But understand this, guys, you do not have to hire the world to make a supreme amount of money. Jacob's got 200 riders a week and he's clearing like 200. Maybe I shouldn't say that for him. But anyways, so I won't say that number. You didn't hear it here, but I can say other numbers. I could say this, guys, you could get to 40 riders in a week and you will be clearing, 35, 40, 50 grand, per month. All right. So I want you to know this. It doesn't take the world to do something special. But if you start to learn to audit who you're hiring, stop taking anybody that can, show up on a Zoom call and is just breathing and can barely, maybe even sometimes take an application or pull up HQ. They struggle with that. Audit who you're hiring, right? What we're going to do, we're going to roll through is really Tara's script that will show you and help you start identifying, having a scale almost in your internal process of, okay, was this person better than the last person? Because it's systematic. There's a process to it. I ran a training a long time ago, Tara. It was called like the difference between just doing an interview versus actually running one. And I got better people when I started going through better expectations in the interview. I didn't hire, the people that I think everyone else thinks are just fantastic. It's the single mom who's all of a sudden a nurse. She works 4 10s, specifically midnights shifts, makes great money right now, 100 grand plus. But here's the truth of it. She's got 3 days off. She sleeps one. She has 2 little kids. And after that, she had spent Saturday with them. And then Sunday, that's all she's got left for her day. Like that individual, all of a sudden, some people think this is incredible. And my thought is like, I think you'd be great here. How are you going to make time for this business? But I'm letting them answer these hurdles and obstacles and these questions. So we'll go through it. You guys will probably see a few things. We are going to role play. Tara, I'm just making sure we didn't forget anything based off of the outline. I think we're pretty good. Yeah. What we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna roll through the script. Basically, the first 15 minutes that Tara is able to go ahead and identify if she wants to continue moving forward with this candidate, right? And we will get the whole script and everything out to everybody. So just sit tight, hang out, take some notes, really identify. But if there's something I would like you guys to really look for, is watch how she addresses situations, watch how she talks about certain things, watch how she goes about, and even for like when I do interviews too, if I see an obstacle or a hurdle, I'm going to ask them about how they would overcome that, right? They say they got money, they don't have money. Well, great. How would you be able to go ahead and afford your leads or your license? I got to go borrow it from my husband or my boyfriend. It's going to be a tough one, right? So, little things like that. Tara, anything to add?
Yeah, so I just want to kind of set the stage a little bit. I learned this from this really cool chick. Her name's Sarah Reinecke. You may have heard of her. So one of the things that I do before I even set up an interview, the candidate is going to get, when they apply to my job, I have a 4-minute video of me, right? I introduce myself to them. I introduce themselves to insurance, or I introduce them to insurance, whether they're licensed or not. I want them to be not attracted to me. That sounds kind of selfish and creepy, but I want them to be engaged with me at the beginning of the process. So I send them a 4-minute video of me, and I let them know at the end of the video, if you're interested in this opportunity still after seeing me, then I want you to text me and or email me, and we'll set up an interview. Great. They text me, they interview me. I send them then the corporate interview. And I say, I need you to watch this before we get on the interview. I want them to have enough information to rule themselves out before wasting my time. If you watch this video and if you are no longer interested, great, fine, go away. Don't want you. But if you are interested, then we will meet. All right. So I'm sharing the corporate overview with the applicant. I am scheduling an interview for 30 minutes. Now, I usually block 45 minutes to an hour, but this interview is scheduled 30 minutes because by 15 minutes in, I'm going to cancel it if I don't want them. And I'll tell you how to do that in a minute. But I had an hour and 10-minute long interview yesterday. He filled out an application last night and he's already on board today. He's ready to write this morning, right? It was that good. And then the morning of the interview, I send them a reminder to ask them if they need to Zoom. I do all of my interviews on Zoom. I want to see them. All right. That's just a great indicator up front. So here are the goals of my interview. Number one, and this is in order of what I'm going to do, I'm going to uncover their motivation. What is their motivation? Number two, I am going to determine behavioral traits that predict future performance. We are going to do a behavioral based interview with this person. They can tell me a lot of things, but if they've not done it in the past, they're not going to do it in the future. I am going to observe their leading indicators. Then I'm going to make a decision on whether or not I want to move forward. When I decide I want to move forward, I'm going to give them a quick overview of what we do. I'm going to answer questions and overcome objections. And then I'm going to create exclusivity and discuss the next steps. I will put this interview script in the comments at the end of this meeting. So don't worry about it. You can have it. It's not proprietary. All right. So, Andrew, it is so great to meet you today. I am super, super excited to spend a little bit of time with you. Before we get started, I kind of just want to get to know you a little bit better. Tell me a little bit about your professional journey. What do you do now, and how did you get here?
Yeah. And for everybody, I'm going to take the role of my mom. Okay. So I'm going to give you a glimpse of like in my life, would my mom be considered a good candidate when Andrew was 10? Okay. So Well, yeah. So I've been doing apartment managing for a long time now. At this point, I think well over 10 years. My son, I had him way back when I first started as an easy leasing agent. I now manage a property. We got about 300, 400 total apartments. And yeah, it's been able to pay well. It's obviously gotten me to the point that I have, and I think I have a good, stable, solid career. Um, but I'm also just kind of at this point looking for a little bit more. It does wear you down a little bit. And obviously I miss my son. I mean, he's 10 now. He's getting older. He's got a lot of baseball.
I bet he's a lot of work too. I bet he's got fire. I bet he acts like a golden retriever.
You have no idea. You're an absolute hellion. So.
So tell me what you like most about what you're currently doing.
You know, I would say that I really enjoy working with the great people, like in my job, my profession, whether it's the leasing agents themselves, and you really get to see them, one, obviously making great income when they start to, really excel. Um, and I really love the higher end of it. I work for a private owner right now. His name is Gary. And just some of the things that he talks to me about like owning the apartment complex. And, obviously I see the revenue. I pay the checks. I'm like, man, there's some really cool things that come along with this. And obviously it got me into real estate. I went and got my real estate license too. So
That's cool. Did you do anything with your real estate license?
no, not yet. But I think I might start doing some flipping houses or something. I'll see. My mom has never flipped a house in the world. So.
It's exciting. It's on my to-do list too, actually. It's just not ever happened. It seems like a lot of work. Um, so if you could change three things about your current situation, what would you change?
Well, you mean aside from working with some of the people that want to come rent apartments or dealing with the kids' parents, other than that one, um, I would say it's two main things. My son is 10. I wake him up by 6 o'clock in the morning. We live right next to the school, but he goes to his neighbor's house. And by 6:30, he's over at the neighbors. He walks to school by 7:30 with them. I leave for work before 7. I don't get to see him until closer to 7:38. I've been to maybe two baseball games this entire time because I do have to work Saturdays still. I've never been to a single baseball practice, and the other day, he had to wait at the ballpark until about 9:30 until I could actually come in and get him. And he just hung out there with his coach. And I'm really tired of those moments. And on top of that, I work about an hour to an hour and 20 away, which is kind of what creates a lot of the issues. It's a great neighborhood. It's just in order for me to have the career I want, I got to work on the other side of town. And I just want to be up a little closer to home.
Gosh, that makes my mama heart hurt for you. That's really, really hard. Um, I'm going to switch gears, and you got me all emotional. Emotionable. That's a word. I'm going to switch gears a bit, though. What what is the most exciting job that you've ever had?
Well, I have been doing apartment managing for almost my whole career. Never went to college. However, one of the coolest things I think that we ever did was I was an Army brat at the time. We traveled around between Germany, England, Italy, and I worked as a banker in between there because my dad, was obviously working in the military and his deployments, but I worked at bankers in between different, locations. And I would say that not necessarily it was the most interesting job working as a banker and a teller, but it was just having the opportunity to see that level of lifestyle and how the Europeans lived, and honestly, the travel that came along with it. And I got to see so much. That was hands down probably the coolest thing. The best thing I think is honestly just what I've been working with currently with Gary and him telling me a little bit about what it's like to own an apartment. I I really think maybe that could be something super cool. Real fast
Ooh.
before you continue. Guys, notice how much I'm talking versus
I
her.
was just going to
One,
interrupt you
it's
to say that.
one question and then I roll. Then
Yeah.
she asks the next, she gives obviously active listening, like, oh wow, that's amazing. Then goes to the next thing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so we've finished the uncovering the motivation section, right? That I have not said a single word about insurance. I have let him do all the talking. I have uncovered his motivation. I've taken detailed notes on the 400 plus interviews that I've had. I could go back and read my notes on every single one of them. I have a giant spreadsheet. If you'd like the template of that, I can give you that. Um, so now I'm going to pivot, and I'm not going to tell him I'm going to pivot. I'm just going to pivot. Yeah, I want to know his why, right? Did he tell me his why? Yeah, he did. Did you hear it? What are some of his motivators?
List them in the chat.
Time, his son, his kid. I heard some travel. I heard a vision for the future, right? Control. Yes. All right. So tell me, so now we're going to go into behavioral based interview questions. I have one, two, three, four, five that I can pick from. Typically, I do two unless I don't get the good answer that I want, and then I might do a third. Based on what he has told me, the behavioral based questions are on five different skill sets. One is drive and motivation, two is self discipline, three is entrepreneurial mindset. Four is people skills and communication. Five is consistency and accountability. All
Real
right.
fast.
Yeah.
Were those behavioral questions, were those five characteristics that you determined are in the type of people that you want on your team?
Yes.
So,
And they're the types of people that I see being successful around me. As a
yeah.
new person, I didn't, I had to borrow the belief of what, you guys told me what good looked like. I didn't know what good looked like yet. So I had to create these. ChatGPT is incredible, by the way, about helping you create some behavioral based questions. Um,
Oh,
but based on my conversation with you so far, I want to dig into whether or not you have an entrepreneurial mindset because you've just had a job all of this time, right? So, um, have you ever taken the initiative to start something new, like a project or a side hustle or maybe a personal challenge?
Um, you know, there was this one time that my husband and I, before he went to join the Border Patrol, we started a cleaning company. And then we were able to kind of get that in with obviously working with Gary because he's a private owner. We were able to get the gals to come in and work and clean the apartments there. Um, it never really kind of went to anything. They kind of do a few jobs here and there now. But yeah, I've tried something like that. Is that what you're looking for?
What was the biggest obstacle that you faced in that endeavor?
Uh, um,
Sorry.
it probably, I'm gonna probably just say it was dealing with the gals themselves. I couldn't quite making sure that they were staying on time, plus also working a full time and then being a mom at the moment. There was only so much I think I could do, and maybe I should have hired some help, but it just got to be a little too much. I was too spread thin.
So I've got about four other questions I could ask as follow up to that to just dig into that, but for time's sake, I'm not going to. The other thing that I want to know about maybe is drive and motivation. And so I'm going to dig right into a next question. So tell me about a time that you set a personal or professional goal that was really important to you. What did you do to achieve it and what kept you going?
You know, um, I don't know that I may really have. And I think that maybe it's just because I've let my husband kind of take mainly most of the career there. When I started focusing on Andrew a bit. And I think like even at this point too, now that I really just think of where I've got to, of like really focusing on being an apartment manager. Um, yeah, maybe that would be the biggest thing there is just moving from leasing agent to apartment managing. Um, but obviously, all of a sudden now it's got me working 45 to 60 hours a week, depending, plus weekends. So Um, yeah, just kind
It's
of
got to be so hard. And, never discount what you do as a parent, right? There's challenges in that every single day, right? And that just building a son, like you're building a human. That's that's pretty impressive. Um, just for time's sake, I'm going to kind of pivot here, right? I'm off script for a second, but um, be careful when you're doing these behavioral based interview questions. Somebody asked in the chat, what if they answer with short answers or they don't give good examples? Well, either keep digging or move on, right? If they can't think of a time when they've done something like that, or they don't seem engaged in your conversation, right? Move on. But be careful not to answer these questions for the person, right?
Yep.
We find ourselves asking these beautiful open ended questions, and then we give them three choices to choose from, or we give them an example. You've got to ask the questions and then shut your mouth and let them talk. So, I've now gone through my behavioral based interview questions. If I had been interviewing you live, I likely would have if that's not a word. I would have gone to a third. I'm making up words today. I would have gone to another behavioral based question, right? Just to see and make sure, because he didn't have a great answer on that last one. But still, I'm now where I'm observing the leading indicators, right? Here are my leading indicators. How is this person handling these questions? How are they handling them? Are they professional? Are they thought provoking? Did they give thought to those before they started answering them? Um, does he seem engaged? Uh, does he at all seem uncomfortable, like he's making this stuff up on the fly, or are these real examples? Is he leaning into my questions and providing thoughtful answers? Um, is he personable? Does he seem motivated? Right? Those are all things that are going to literally make me at this point say, I'm going to continue this interview, or you know what? It's been so great to meet you today. Um, I actually have another meeting I'm jumping into. If I have any follow-up questions, I'll get back to you. Right? That's how I end an interview if I need to. I don't owe this person anything, right?
And then
I
question for you. And this is the hiring world, my friends. And then say, hey, if I have any questions, I'll get back to you. And if you don't have any questions for people, do you bother spending time of letting them know you've moved on to someone else, or you cut it there and that's it?
I cut it there.
Yes.
Um,
Good.
I cut it there, and here's why. They have my phone number and they have my email address because they reached out to me already. Oh,
Look at
okay.
that.
I don't know how that happens. I do know how this one happens though, but they have my contact information and they can get back in touch with me. So, and I've not had this happen very often, but if I don't get back in touch with them because frankly they didn't impress me and they can't stop thinking about this job opportunity,
Did it.
what happens when that person messages me and says, hey, next week, I never heard back from you, but I want this? Bingo, done, hired, get your butt on the team. Let's go do it. But if they don't ever respond to me, moving on.
We're gonna stop everything there. That is like the bulk of the training, and because if we continue, I think we'll just have to probably bring a part two, Tara. But I want to bring some very key things to this. So first off, somebody said like, what's the eject button? That's it. Hey, I appreciate this time. If I have any further questions, I'll get back to you. Remember, you're qualifying them in and also sorting them out. Now, if they re-qualify themselves later on, guys, do not feel bad about not getting back to people that you're not moving forward with. Okay. This is natural hiring. You are hiring for a position. You are hiring to work with people. You are hiring to work with people. You are hiring people to honestly travel the world with and be a part of your life, right? If you don't feel like you want to be them to be a part of it, keep on moving. But if they all of a sudden reintroduce themselves and they feel like they want to step up to a higher level, trust me, you are in a position of power that allows you to create good, solid expectations about what you want to see them improve on. Then it's up to them if they want to fill those shoes or not. The second thing I want to illustrate is, like I said, I ran a training a long time ago, and Tara, incredible job. It's like when you identify the characteristics that you want to see in people, and you can kind of in your head as they're talking just kind of go through. I forgot the five that you had, but she was like entrepreneurial spirit. I know for me, I'm looking for somebody who's extremely positive, right? That's optimistic. They're looking to be a servant leader. They like the idea of being like, very simply for me is hungry, but it's just ambitious, goal driven, self-determined. Like, would tell me about those moments. Like I love talking to athletes because I can just hear it in them. When people check off, okay, I can see this characteristic. I can see this characteristic. I can see this characteristic. And they've got 4 of the 5 characteristics that I'm looking for, and they've answered all the questions well. And when I've given them a hurdle and they say like, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of time, but I've actually already put in for my work to move myself down from 60 hours to at least like just a maximum of 40. Boom. Like this person is already solving their problems. They're not waiting for me to give them permission to figure it out. That, my friends, is how you go from doing interviews to running them. From moving
Yes.
people from ready to write to ready to run. What else did we try to name this thing? From doing interviews is enough to run it, to guide it, to identify the next hire. This thing's still a work in progress, nevertheless, so my friends. Give Tara a round of applause, girl. You have done an excellent job, and I want to commend you to one specific piece. So often I see so many people, Tara, come into this business waiting for us to give them the answers about recruiting, doing interviews, building a script, what resources should I buy? The people who become agency owner, and I can see where you're at and where you're going, take it and say, okay, I'm going to take ownership and own this and go do it. They don't ask for permission. They don't ask to wait to be led and say, take me to water. What do I do next? They just go try to figure it out and they say, oh, well, that didn't work. What else could you maybe suggest? And you are doing that, my friend. And job well done
Thank
to you.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am dropping my interview script into the comments right now. I will say if I've got 2 more seconds, if you don't
Mhm.
mind, I do want you to know kind of just high level where I go after this, right? I've decided I want to move forward with this person, and you'll see it in the script. I get to start talking. Now I'm going to do a quick overview of what we do, but you'll notice even when you look at that, oh, sorry, it's a request access. I'll fix that. Come back to it a minute after we get off this call. I'll fix that. Now, though, even when I'm talking through you watched the corporate overview video I sent you, correct? Sure, I did. What stands out to you about the video? What most intrigues and interests you about what you learned? Even when I'm telling them about our position, I'm asking them questions to see how they've bought into it already. Then I go through it. So anyway,
Tara, this is so brilliant, so smart. What I love about it is this goes along with my philosophies, which is quality over quantity. I've never been a fan of churn and burn. I always think I would never have click, click, click applied. This is a big decision. It's a big decision for people to do. And I love that you saw the sea of yellow and it's like, okay, sea of yellow of new writers is good, but not enough, right? That's an expensive hobby. So the other side of this is the way you make that interviewee feel. Because guys, you have to think that they didn't have their best day at work or in life whenever they applied for this job on ZipRecruiter or LinkedIn. Something's not good, right? They're looking for someone to lead them. They're looking for hope. They're looking for a leader. And the way that Tara has postured herself in this interview, don't you feel like the person being interviewed is like, she's got me. She's professional. She's smart. She's interested in me. I feel heard. Like that's the piece they're looking for. They're looking for hope. They're looking for a Sherpa with a flashlight that's like, I got you. I'll take you on the next step. If you're the right fit, I got you. And that's the posture that Tara has that is so important in this situation. If you want them to run, my favorite quote is they were ready to write, but not ready to run. We're not looking for people just to get licensed. I remember when I first got here, there was like awards for the people who got the most people licensed. I was like, I don't ever want that award. That makes no sense to me at all. Your posture is you're looking for people to really come and work with you. So I love it. I love the way you make them feel on that side of it, which is why when they're in, they're in. It's awesome.
So let's move to Q&A. Okay. And I think that'll be good. And I think Tara would also be good too, is with your Google Doc, probably just make a copy and then
Yeah, I will.
yeah, versus the original for you.
Yep, I will. I'll get that modified. I actually have never shared it with anybody, so that was a big learning experience for me. Man, I guess I
Yeah,
should share more things around here.
I've
I'm
made you
gonna
co-host, so whatever you were trying to share, you can share it now.
No, I think it's her Google Doc. She has to do it.
Yeah, it's my Google Doc. Yeah,
Not in
thanks,
here.
Amanda.
for Alyssa Marshall, preferring individuals versus group. To be honest, I do both. And here's how I utilize group interviews. Group interviews are for the sorting of the delivering of the information, and I go from the group interview to a one-on-one. So the same way everyone can load up their calendars up with a ton of one-on-one interviews, 20-minute sections or 10-minute first interviews, like to get them the information or to get them the content. Then they move to an actual one-on-one. I just do the same thing with group interviews. Group interview is to deliver the information. They see my face, they see me. Then I let them know, should we be moving forward with your application? We will be reaching out to go ahead and get you scheduled for a one-on-one interview where I will go over proper expectations. I want to dive into you a little bit more and get to know you. And then really just run us through something very similar to Tara about just like walking through with somebody and then hiring. Normally by that point, because of the, just the natural sense of everything, the group interview, they got a lot of normal questions answered. The people are 95% of the point moving forward. But I do both. I don't think that group interviews do very well if you just try to turn and burn it, like Sarah said, and you just try to, shovel people through. You got to have that connection with them.
I agree. And um, I have done group interviews. And I've hired a couple of people from group interviews. Please check my work and see if that link just worked. Um, group interviews were not my jam. They were not my jam. I believe that for me, the one-on-one is better for me. But man, I see a lot of people killing group interviews. So it goes back to what I said in the beginning, is it does not matter how you get in front of these people. Get in front of the people, screen them, and figure out if you want to work with them. Then, but yeah, Terry Davis, I am an old school recruiter. You and I are kindred spirits, my friend.
But I want to just throw in there too, because sometimes people think they go too far extreme on the side of like, I'm just weeding people out, right? Your heart in this was not in a way of like, I'm just looking to weed people out. Like your heart in this is like heart led. I'm looking for the right people. So make sure like you don't go extreme on the other side, which is just, weeding people out mentality. That's not your goal. Your goal is to find awesome people. So
I'm
make
looking to
sure.
weed people in. I'm
Yes,
looking to weed
yes,
people in.
yes.
Man, we have something that's incredible here, right? And if you have the right spirit about building and the right spirit about helping others and the right spirit about growing something incredible, man, there's no better place to do it than here.
Yeah.
And I want to find that person that's looking for that.
Yes.
I'm weeding them in.
Exactly. Yeah. Her intention is such, right? And that matters. We know the intentions behind dialing matters. Your intention behind building also matters. And if you're looking to get rid of people versus finding awesome people, it makes a difference in your posture. I love that.
What other questions people have? I'm trying to go through some cues. A lot of people asking about what video to use. We got tons of them. We've recorded a million of them. There's one on HQ. How do you start a conversation with somebody that you met out and about, store, restaurant, etc.?
Well, I can talk to anybody. So, it's not that different, to be honest. Tell me about what you do now. What do you like about what you do? right?
Can you get
If you
just
could
chop them
change
in?
something, right? If you could change something about what you do, what would it be? Gosh, let me tell you about what I do, right? If what they love about what they do now is interacting with people and helping people, and I don't know, maybe they've grown a business before in their past, and what they would change is they'd love to be able to work on their own and have more time freedom and make more money. Bam, okay. Let me tell you about what I do. Want to know more?
I think it's honestly just being curious, my friends. Like, you talk to people every single day about anything all the time, right? Um, and people say like, "Oh, I just went and saw the Fast and the Furious movie," and you say like, "Oh, what'd you like about it?" It's like, "Oh, what do you do for work?" "Oh, I'm park manager." "Oh, what do you like about it?" Like, just create a conversation. Just like learn how to do that. I can guarantee you, the more you do regular interviews, that process becomes very simple and easy because it's a rinse and repeat. And Trevor Tipton said it way earlier too in the chat. The recruiting and the sales process have so many similarities that once you kind of do this more, your sales should improve as well because it's the same exact thing with the client. You just ask better questions, learn to help extract more from them. See, I'm going through questions, etc. What's your method of getting them into PACE pre-licensing with haste and intention? So I'm guessing from the point that you had, like, we're moving forward, how often are people getting themselves on a pre-licensing or so, I guess, same day or, by the weekend or something like that?
So I recently, and this is a new process for me, so I don't know exactly how well it's going to work, but I have recently been doing, doing quote unquote classes. There really are no classes, but I have been. You'll see at the end of the interview script that you really need to create FOMO and sense of exclusivity, right? Let them know you've got a class starting in the next 2 weeks. You're finishing up another round of interviews today and tomorrow. You'll be in touch with that decision. I'm setting expectations at the end of that interview that once I make my decision, that they're going to need to get through this pretty quickly to get to be a part of that class. I also try to let people know when I extend an offer to them that that they need to finish the class in 2 weeks, that is going to be their first indicator to me that they are serious about this business. I need you to finish your class in 2 weeks. If you don't finish it in 2 weeks, I'm going to question whether or not you're serious about this opportunity. So it's August the 7th. That means that 2 weeks from today, it's August the 24th. How far along do you plan to be by August the 24th? And let them come back and answer that question to me. Now, I do have one person on my team who took about 3 months to finish the course, and I was seriously concerned, right? I didn't kick her out to the curb, right? But I was seriously concerned, and she's killing it, right? So I'm not going to kick them out, right? But that is how I set the expectation that they need to finish it in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Another good one, Sarah, I'll pivot this one over to you because you and Trisha went over this. Someone just asked, what's schedule look like? Certain days do you do interviews/production? And can you share what Trisha shared on the AO Mastermind call?
Sure. Trisha's probably on here. She could
Oh,
pop.
maybe.
Trisha, are you on here?
I'm here.
Yeah, where is she? You want to answer that? That's worked really
Yeah,
well.
let me see. I did hear the question. Who asked that? So I was really struggling. I was about 5 months in the business, and I was really struggling balancing production and building. And, I think if I look at the first 5 months, I needed to take that time to learn production, but I also recognized, all right, I have to make a change here so that I can produce at the rate at which I wanted to, but also build at the rate at which I wanted to. And so when I was at conference last year, Tristan Strickland had given me some advice. And for the people that have been here a while, this probably won't be new advice for you. Apparently, this is the Symmetry way. And what they did when they would drive to homes and do all the things is they would produce on Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday, and pretty much knock out all the business there, and then free up time Wednesday, Thursday, and then kind of a reset day on Friday. And so I came home from conference and I was like, all right, let's go. Like I was spreading production out for the whole week. I mean, it was consuming my entire life. And so when I got back, I had my leads drop on Friday. I had a standing lead order, had them drop on Friday. I would call them to book for Saturday or Monday. If I didn't get in touch, I'd call Saturday, book for Monday, Tuesday, and just heavy, heavy appointment days, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. And with that, I was producing like 5 to 10,000 a week in 3 days. And it changed the game. And it's not even so much about like, did I produce or did I build on those Wednesday, Thursday? Maybe, but it freed up my mental capacity to consider other things, to be more creative, to put my energy elsewhere versus just production nonstop every day. I think that was the question.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
It's two different jobs. I don't know if anybody told you this. It's like, and there's the book, The Road Less Stupid, and he talks about Keith Cunningham, I think. Yeah. And he talks about like the different hats you wear. It's like you put on your building hat, you put on your production hat. And for a lot of people, they find it really helpful to like compress your production time. You feel profitable, you feel like you got what you needed to get done. You can pay your bills and then put your building hat on. They're always going to overlap a little, but if you can time block it to where this is what my focus and my intentions are during this time. Yeah. Gino, good to see you, my friend.
Real fast too, guys. If we missed your question, can you retype it in the chat? I just want to make sure we got everything. Go ahead, Gino.
No, I was just gonna say in regard to what Trisha was talking about, that's what, Andrew, Sarah, and I were brought up to in this business is collapsing those time frames, having a schedule that's set in place where you can really be effective with your time. And what Brian Delaney, who would always tell us, is like, hey, go out and write your story on a Monday and Tuesday so you can go tell your story on a Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Like being able to come from that place of purpose when you just made, $2, $3, $4,000 in your bank account. Like how much more belief do you have when you're talking to those new interviewees in regards to them coming to do this business with you, right? There's a little bit more posture, there's a little bit more belief because you just went out and done the work. Like I know, 2 weeks ago, I don't know if anybody saw my social media post, but I had a crazy idea to go make 10 grand in 2 days. Man, that Wednesday and Thursday when I was doing my interviews, it was so easy to be able to have those guys on a Zoom call doing the group interview and be like, man, like look at these productions, like look at these commissions, like this is what's possible, right? And so that's what I would recommend. Collapse those time frames. Get your production done in a 48 to 72 hour time frame and spend the rest of your week just like building your business. And then you can get a little crazy like Brian Delaney will say, Sarah. He'll say it's 20/20 vision, right? 20 grand as fast as you possibly can throughout the month and spend the rest of the month just building your business. All right. And so, I mean, there's different ways you can skin a cat here.
Gino, I'm gonna borrow you for a quick second. Because this is what I was kind of told, but the people saying like, okay, we get digital leads that drop all week. How do we get it done in 28 to 40 hour time frame? My one recommendation to everybody is just don't let less than 5 cap appointments ever drop off your calendar. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to get to 15. You've always got 5 in the future. You just recall to make sure that they're going to show up to those appointments. But you have this rolling 5. That means you got to get 10. So it's far easier to get your 10 without needing all your leads to drop if you have that consistent 5. Is there anything that you'd say differently?
I mean, just, if you've been here more than a week, you got pipeline, right? You got other leads that's in your arsenal, right? And so it's being that person who's willing to get resourceful and get gritty. Like Delaney would always tell us, because it's all about schedule. Like everything is about schedule. Like my grandfather would tell me, he'd say, son, he says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, or you just got to have a schedule. And what Delaney would say is if you don't know where you are throughout the week, your business doesn't know where you are throughout the week. And if your business doesn't know where you are throughout the week, money can never find you, impact can never find you, promotion can never find you. You got to get your schedule together. And so because I've done mortgage protection leads, I've done digital leads, I've done it both. And what I'll tell you confidently, you can get your production done inside of 48 hours to 72 hours. You can, right? But it's about how intentional are you willing to be with the time that you're working, you know? So, whether that's you, calling leads that you got last week that didn't pick up, whether that's you calling clients that you booked appointments with that didn't show up, getting them back on your schedule, calling brand new leads that just came in a couple of days prior, the day of. It's just saying like, hey, for these next 48 hours, I'm just going to get as much production done as I possibly can. And you'll be shocked on what your body would do when you make a decision in your mind, right? And it's just putting a goal out there and running after it. And like when you make a decision, again, it's crazy. And what is a decision if you break down that word, right? D means to cut something away, right? I am cutting something away. I am making a decision to do something. Like, hey, like you may not gonna do the dishes for that day. That's fine. You may not cut the grass for that 4 hours. That's fine. You need to get into that mindset where you're like, hey, I got a job that needs to be completed, and I'm the type of person that's capable of getting it done.
Appreciate you, Gino. Guys, I think we got through was a ton of questions. That was a good solid like 20 something questions we rolled through. Y'all, I know that I think they canceled the next call anyways because of conference, but nevertheless though, Sarah, Tara, thank you for letting me jump on this call and join you guys. Y'all did incredible. I'm happy to just play a good solid support and be the golden retriever of the crew.
So
Which-
Just so you know, I would have
Oh,
definitely hired you, Andrew. Definitely.
I think we became better builders today. That's the whole idea, right? Like this is what I love about this. I put in the chat if you became a better builder today. Put a 1. I want to know, like, did you become a better builder today? Good. So then implement something that Tara taught you today. There's a lot. I was like, this is like watching a really good show today, Tara. It was full of really good stuff that they can take away today. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for leading. Thank you for getting through the hard, Tara, because I know this hasn't been easy, not an easy journey for you at all. And you chose to do the dang thing. And your posture now is totally different than it was 6 months ago, a year ago, because she grew into this leadership, right? So I saw someone ask, like, what if you're brand new and you don't have a team yet? You got to grow through it. There's a graveyard of agents that didn't make it. We all have them, right? Like you got to grow through it, and she did. And you're just an asset to this team, to this agency, to this whole company. Tara, you're a leader here. We're just proud of you. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I'd be
All right.
remiss to say, like, thank you, Gino, for sharing. Thank you for Trisha. Thank you for Trevor answering questions in there too. To everybody that helped out with it. Solid call, Tara. And we'll get it out to everybody.
And I think they're going to be begging for Gino to talk more next week. So be prepared for that. You opened your trap. You opened your trap. So now it's going to be your
Careful
turn.
what you wish for.
All right,
y'all
y'all.
later.
Let's hit it. We'll talk to you